And welcome back to Business Casual. I'm your host, Nav Nanwa. The Ontario Trillium Foundation just recently awarded a number of grants to charitable as well as nonprofit organizations. And one of them is actually sitting with me right now. I have representing LABB Brampton, LABB. I have the co-creator of LABB, Mr. Harman Grewal. Harman, thank you so much for joining us here on Business Casual. First off, congratulations on your grant with OTF. You know, truly a wonderful program that this organization puts together, and especially when it comes to organizations like yours. But before we jump into just the whole process that went into you and the team at LABB being awarded this opportunity, explain to the viewers just briefly what LABB is all about.
So LABB is essentially a shared workspace. We are located in downtown Brampton, and what we try to provide is a space essentially for anybody to take an idea, whether it's for a project, a business, or something that they're passionate about, and we help them figure out what are the next steps to take it to action. So whether it's providing basic things like space, Wi-Fi, coffee, or if it's about facilitating introductions to certain key individuals, whether they're experienced professionals or service providers, or if it's connecting you to the right resources. We try to go the mile in terms of providing the ability to execute whatever it is that's in your head right there at that
excellent.
moment. Yeah.
And, you know, the one thing that's interesting about LABB Brampton or LABB is the fact that it was like the first co-working space within the city of Brampton. And, you know, some people might say, you know, I used to co-work at the local coffee shop, or I used to co-work at Four Corners Library, which is in the vicinity of you guys. But this was actually like the first real co-working space within the city that was promoting this sort of mentality.
And it still is the co-working space, and we've realized that we've kind of evolved, and we've realized that co-working is a core function of the space. It's the shared workspace kind of aspect of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you build the community, where you get everybody to leverage each other's resources, connect with one another, take down the walls. There's no need for walls. Keep it open and keep it very casual, kind of like your show, right?
Yeah. Great plug.
Yeah, thank you. It's something that we learned just through the ropes. But at the same time, like what we also try to provide is opportunities for people to learn more about different areas, whether we see it's towards mental health, towards whether it's coding as well, or whether it's supporting the arts and culture through art exhibitions or book launches or anything like that, right? And so we do this by providing workshops and events.
You know, one thing that says on your website about LABB is the fact that you know, you promote the space as a shared space for the creative economy.
Yep.
How would you describe, I guess, the current creative economy scene within the city of Brampton or generally across Peel?
I think the best way that me and Harpreet try to describe the creative economy is it's anybody who has a passion for the arts but understands that they also need a business aspect, or they need an entrepreneurial aspect in order to become financially independent, right? So Brampton is so full of talent right now, whether it's in the music scene, whether it's on the arts in terms of the fine arts and painting, whether it's literary works, whether it's spoken word artists, whether it's videographers. And the thing is that we're noticing that all of these youth have these great ideas, and they're very passionate about what they're doing, but they just need a little bit of guidance in terms of understanding basic business fundamentals, such as how do you brand yourself, what are some marketing strategies you can think of, how do you build a channel or build a community so people know that you exist, and this is the value that you can provide.
You know, the one thing that LABB does great in the community is really bring people together. And, you know, I think what's been evident, especially in the last 2 years, or almost over 2 years that you guys have been in existence, is, you know, the amount of political support that you guys have been getting, or amount of, I guess, city support in general from the city of Brampton. You know, there seems to be a lot of individuals who I guess are a part of the establishment that are really getting involved in the work that you guys are doing. And it's almost as if LABB is now becoming a voice for, I guess, the younger generation within the city of Brampton. How do you feel about that?
I think for us, it's always, like, first of all, we're always nonpartisan in everything that we do. But I think because of the nature of our work is all about building the economy and building the ecosystem and helping the community, it's a natural draw for anybody who's involved, because you're always going to commend the people who are doing work for the community, right? Community builders and whatnot. but I also think that it's also been very, like, we've been very fortunate to also have these partnerships and these allies in these different areas, in terms of allowing us the opportunity to sit at the table
Yeah.
and expressing what we know are the problems that are facing the youth today, right? And the thing is, sometimes there's a disconnect between the people at the higher level and the people who are going through these issues at the streets, right? What we have the ability to do is, because we have our community drop-in space, people come and they let us know what they're going through. They let us know what things are stressing them out. They let us know what their financial constraints are, and always being confidential. We always understand that, like, okay, there's these common patterns that we notice that most of the youth are going through in the Peel area, right? So what we do is we try to let people know, the people who have the resources and the ability for change, we try to let them know and be like, these are what people are going through, and we feel like there needs to be a reassessment in terms of the planning and the strategies going forward, right? So are we a voice for a youth? I think organically, naturally, it just kind of comes out like that. But for us, it's more about just speaking about the problems that we hear on a daily basis and the things that we go through as well, just me and you as well, right?
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is when the announcement came out that you guys were being awarded funding for 3 years, courtesy of the Ontario Trillium Foundation, the excitement or the hype and buzz that was created online across a lot of the youth that your co-working space has influenced or has touched along the way was phenomenal. There was a lot of support. A lot of people were excited. The fact that you guys are being given this opportunity. How would you describe your entrepreneurial journey, or you and Harpy Zing, who's your partner?
Yeah.
How would you describe the entrepreneurial journey of LABB? Because at the end of the day, going back to what we talked about earlier, the idea behind a co-working space was still fairly new in Brampton, and I'm guessing there was a lot of hurdles that you had to get through to really get to this position.
How do I explain the entrepreneurial journey? It's a lot of up and down. It's a lot of peaks and, like, literally low points, both physically and emotionally. For me and Harpy, like, it was that cliche story of starting out of the garage.
Yeah.
We started out of his garage for the whole summer. We were working on it, and there were moments where, like, we got on each other's nerves. We were frustrated, and just the daily life struggle of just, like, bills and finances and family pressures and all that. It all takes a toll in terms of building up, right? But the thing is when we had those little points of success, we all got together and we all celebrated, right?
Yeah.
So the most important thing that I've learned from all of this is that patience and persistence is key, and you will doubt yourself. But if you know what you're doing is right, people will tell you not to stop, right? And people like you, people within the community, city of Brampton, everybody, they've always told us that no matter how hard it gets, just keep going. Just put one step forward, because you guys will make it, and because you guys are providing value at the end of the day, right? So for us, it was really great to have the community backing, because otherwise, you don't know if you can get there or not sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, it's a really great way that you put it. I guess the other question I had for both of you, or just you, is around the OTF grants. How did you guys first hear about this opportunity? What was a work that went into really kind of making a solid application? And I guess, how did it feel at the very end to be awarded the chance to have this funding to take your vision further?
Well, once we started realizing that we're more suited in the nonprofit sector, it was just a matter of doing research and figuring out what are the foundations that provide grants towards what we do. And it's sort of not traditional either. It's very unconventional in terms of what we're providing. And OTF was always the front runner. The fact that they supported Fuse was a big indicator.
Yeah, Fuse Brampton.
Right, yeah. So we knew that OTF aligned with whatever our objectives and strategies were, and the work was a massive learning curve for both of us, because it was all about attending the orientations, meeting the people who you knew were part of the process of the decision making. And it was literally just from square one of understanding, how do you write a grant? What are the things that people look for? A lot of meetings with people who are grant writers as well, right? And people in the community helped us a lot too, right? Daniel Francavilla helped us. Rohit Mehta from Incubate Institute helped us a lot, right? And it it goes back to the idea of if the community wasn't there, you don't know if you would have gotten this far, right? And a lot of credit goes out to them. But at the same time, I remember when we were working on the grant, we didn't have a Christmas break. Our Christmas break, after we found out that we got into the second phase of the grant funding, was just at LABB in a little room, just me and Harpreet, like literally criticizing each other in terms of what we think the next step should be, what the programming should be, and everything like that, right? But it was a really good feeling when we did find out that we did get it, because it was literally a sigh of relief. Like I've never danced, but when Harpreet told me, like I was literally dancing in the bathroom. I was like, oh my God, right? So it was a massive sigh of relief for both of us, and it was assurance in knowing that we have another 3 years to continue doing the work that we're doing.
Excellent. So now that you have been enabled this opportunity, what's the plan for LABB moving forward?
It's focusing on the core value that we already provide, which is space, which is access to content that is meaningful. It's also more tightening up of the creative economy co-op program. So actually having these interns go through these skills development and ensuring that they do have employment opportunities when they leave, right? But at the same time, we also want to scale bigger in terms of our events. We want to start, like, you remember Startup Weekend?
Yes.
So we want to do more stuff like Startup Weekend for the community. And for us, it's always roll with the punches, or in a sense of always being on the pulse and understanding what is it that the community needs and being ready to act on it.
Awesome.
Right?
And lastly, what do you think is the future of co-working?
I think the future of co-working is really good. I think a lot of people are understanding the benefits of being in a shared workspace. Whether they want to use the term co-working or not is a different matter, but the value that you get from working with a community of like-minded people is limitless, in my opinion.
Well, Harman, I want to thank you for joining us here on Business Casual. Congrats again on being the recipient of the OTF funding this year. I know you and your team will do great things with LABB Brampton as we move forward, so thank you again for joining us. And we'll be right back after this brief commercial message here on Business Casual on Rogers TVPL.